This is the very first video of what I would like to call the joke off. I would like to hear any joke that you possibly have, and just to get things started, this is my joke. It's called the duck joke. Okay, so three ladies, they're in a car and they're driving along the road, and a truck comes and they're in this horrendous, horrible, tragic car accident, and all three of them die. That's not the end of the joke, but it's a very sad beginning to a joke, but it does get funnier. Okay, so when the three ladies die, they go to heaven, and now they were sort of expecting, you know, oh, well, we're in heaven, we're going to see, you know, lots of clouds, which they did. They saw lots of clouds, and they were expecting to be handed a harp and they could play that for all eternity. But that's not what happened. What they actually saw was, on these clouds was thousands and thousands of little ducks. Ducks everywhere. We're talking a sea of ducks, a carpet of ducks, okay? And then St. Peter arrives, and he says, "Welcome to heaven. You can stay here as long as you like. In fact, you're going to. It's all of eternity. Now, there's only one rule. Don't step on a duck." And three ladies are like, "Okay," and St. Peter disappears in a puff of smoke. So, a little while goes by, and they're looking around at all these ducks that are all over the place, and then, you know, they go for a little bit of a walk, but then one of the ladies steps on a duck. St. Peter arrives back in his puff of smoke, and he's got with him another man who is the ugliest person they had ever laid eyes on. This guy was just absolutely hideous. He'd been hit with the ugly stick, right? So St. Peter drags this ugly fella along to the woman that stepped on a duck, and then handcuffs him there for all of eternity, and disappears in a puff of smoke. And the other two ladies are like, "Whoa, that's not cool. I don't really want to step on a duck now." So, you know, they're careful. They're very, very careful. They've just seen what happens if they step on a duck. So, you know, days go by, weeks go by, but then eventually, second lady steps on a duck, and St. Peter arrives. This time he's got the most hideous man they've even seen. Like, the last guy looked good compared to this guy. He's got warts on his face. He's absolutely disgusting. As in, you would rather look at a pile of vomit than have a look at this guy, right? He's hideous. So St. Peter pulls this guy along, handcuffs him to her for all of eternity, and disappears in a puff of smoke. Now the third lady, okay, she's seen exactly what's going on, and she's wanting to be very, very, very careful, okay? Now, weeks go by, months go by, years go by, decades go by. She's barely even moving. She does not want to step on, and she's having a lot of success. And then, in fact, after several centuries of her not stepping on a duck, St. Peter arrives again, and now this time, he doesn't have an ugly man with him. He's actually got the most beautiful man that she had ever laid eyes on. He's got golden hair, looks a bit like Fabio, or one of those other guys, Brad Pitt. Okay, he's muscular, he's absolutely he's radiant. This guy is just the most beautiful man she has ever seen. And St. Peter comes along and handcuffs him to her for all of eternity, and the lady's like, she's flabbergasted, she's amazed, and she says, "Oh, what did I ever do to deserve being handcuffed to you for all of eternity?" And the man turns around and says, "Well, I don't know what you did, but I stepped on a duck." That's my joke. Send me yours.